In 1973, there were 132 Republicans in the House of Representatives, Democrats in the House of Representatives, and only 17 Republicans. Let that sink in. In the Senate, there were 28 Democrats, 3 Republicans. In the House of Representatives, 20 Democrats, 4 Republicans. These days, it is completely reversed. The closest Democrats came to some type of equity was in 2008, when a lot of Democrats turned out to vote in the Barack Obama years. But even then, it was like 46 Republicans and 44. Or 96 and 94. There we go. So say it right. I'm going to get it right in a minute. 76 and 74. 150. There's 150 members of the Texas House of Representatives. Today, we are heavily Republican. Now, there are lots of predictions that Democrats may actually be able to take over the Texas House. We will see. I know that this is one of those change elections, and so we should expect a lot more people to come out and vote. And a lot of the people that traditionally vote Democrat are incentivized to go and vote right now. And so who knows what's going to happen for the 2021 year. The election is November 3rd. Early voting starts October 13th. So let's talk about how we got there, how we made the switch to the Republican Party in the state of Texas. Let's make sure that we understand the terminology. Number one, party realignment. Now, I described to you people little by little leaving the Democratic Party for one reason or another. Most of it because they did not like the civil rights agenda, and they were really starting to like the more conservative members of the Republican Party that were running for office. Eisenhower, Nixon, Reagan, H.W. Bush, George W. Bush. And so little by little, people were leaving. That is called party realignment. That is when somebody leaves one party and completely switches to another party. This actually happens periodically. We usually see party...
There's no active workout in progress.
We actually see party realignment about every 30 or 40 years for various issues, usually having something to do with race or war and how people feel about war. People switch parties. Sometimes it is because of policies. A lot of people went to the Democratic Party when Roosevelt was in place because Roosevelt was about jobs and money. And Eleanor Roosevelt was a huge advocate for minority rights and civil rights. And so some of those African Americans started to move over to the Democratic Party in the 30s and 40s. The rest of them came over because of the civil rights issues in the late 60s. But realignment happens when you have this transition where one party was dominant and people move to another party. We also are seeing this rise in uh, partisan identification. And that just means that people say, I am a Democrat or I am a Republican. So this just means that people are attached, identify with, and vote for people that are in one party. But we have seen growing de-alignment in our state. De-alignment is where people leave all the parties. They are independent. They vote for the person that makes the most sense to them if they vote at all. And we have seen almost a third of people in Texas and about that much in the United States that have given up on party identification and say that they are independent. And so that has made political parties lose some of their power, because there were people that would vote for Republican candidates no matter who they were. You didn't even have to work hard. And now if there are people that are independent, then you're going to have to convince them that you are the best candidate. Can no longer just simply say, well, I'm a Republican, so vote for me. Where do Republicans see strong support in our state? Well, in the Houston suburbs. Up until 2018 in Fort Worth, all of our leaders, now local leaders don't have party identification, but like the mayor of Fort Worth, Betsy Price, she used to be the county clerk, and she's a Republican. And Fort Worth has been reliably Republican for years. The largest urban area, I believe, in the United States that consistently votes Republican. But 2018, Beto O'Rourke won Tarrant County. I don't know. West Texas, north of Interstate 10, reliably Republican. Reliably Republican. Okay. I don't know. Me and Siri. East Texas, still and probably will be reliably Republican. And the Hill Country, Edwards Plateau, so we're talking what they call German Hill Country, west of San Antonio. Now that's an area that's probably been Republican for a while. Where do Republicans struggle? In South Central Texas, so anywhere San Antonio and going on south, in the Corpus Christi area, McAllen area, Cameron County, Starr County, Hidalgo County, any of those counties in the valley, Republicans struggle. In major metropolitan areas, Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, El Paso, they don't have on here. Well, it's there on the next one. Those large cities that have large concentrations of African Americans and Hispanics, Democrats tend to do well and Republicans struggle. In the border region, from the Rio Grande Valley to El Paso, you will see a lot of blue. Some of these areas are sparsely populated, but El Paso is not. And some of those cities are not sparsely populated. Again, we are kind of at this crossroads right now. And so we really believe that Texas is in the middle of a party realignment. So we will see. We'll see how things pan out. If we look at voters, percentage of voters that indicated their party identification. Look at 1952, 66% identified as Democrats. 2018, 31% identified as Democrats. But in 1952, only 6% identified as Republicans. Look at 2018, where it is much, much closer. And there's a large percentage of people that don't identify as Democrat or Republican. So this chart bears out what we were saying, that there are more independents, and Republicans still dominate, but we are in a period of transition. Just want to bring this back to your mind. This is the 2016 presidential election. The major candidates were Donald Trump, Republican, Hillary Clinton, Democrat, and look at the counties where the Democrat won. Dallas County, Travis County, Bexar County, El Paso County. These people with like 6 people in West Texas, and then down in the valley, Hidalgo County, Cameron County. I can't read them all, so I just say the ones I know. Starr County is somewhere here, Zapata. Then there's Harris County and Fort Bend, which was a little bit of a surprise because it is a suburb. It is a suburb, but Fort Bend County went to the Democratic candidate in 2016. In the 2018 elections, add to this, Tarrant County was blue and Jefferson County was blue. Go figure. So within the Republican Party, conservatives and moderates have a tendency to be Republicans. Now, we talked a little bit about pragmatism, and I want to bring this home for you guys. I had you in your discussion board look at the different party platforms. And what you're going to find is that there are many contributors in the Republican Party platform and the Democratic Party platform. You can see factions. You can see different groups that contributed to that party platform. Within the Republican Party platform, you will see Tea Party. You will see libertarians that don't like big business, don't like too much spending. You will see veterans' rights. You will see NRA and Second Amendment gun ownership, and you will see conservatives in general. So you'll see stuff in the Republican platform that'll be like, we believe in a marriage between one man and one woman, and the absolute right to protection of life from birth to death. And so you can see that those preachers, those evangelical preachers, got in there and were able to influence what went into that platform. No doubt. So, again, this was written a little while ago. The question is, can Democrats still compete? Or can they compete at all? And the answer is eventually yes. This year, we don't know. We will see. Now, I told you that African Americans have a tendency to vote with the Democratic Party in Texas, it's about 95% of African Americans identify with the Democratic Party. Latinos are lower. It's about 60%. So it's a large amount, although Latinos have low voting numbers, but they are increasing in population in Texas. So let's look at this map and just look at concentration of Latinos in Texas. There are high concentrations, more than half, in the Panhandle, in far west Texas, and along the border, in South Texas and the middle southern area. There are really high concentrations in South and West Texas and the Panhandle. Notice Harris County. The concentration in Harris County is from 40 to 49.9%. So that amount is going up. Notice that East Texas is much more likely to have white, which is 0 to 9%, or the tan, which is 10 to 19%, 19.9. I have a friend that is from East Texas, and when she first started teaching in college, she got a job in Houston. So she is teaching at a community college in Houston, and she picks up this list of a lot of people with Hispanic surnames, with Spanish surnames, because we know Spain came in and donated all their names to Mexico and to Central and South America. So she's looking at this list, and it was full of names that she had never seen. She's from East Texas. So she's like, Juan, she's just calling out names, and she goes, oh, Jesus, which was Jesus, because she'd never seen him before. That tickled the heck out of me. Now that is foreign to me. I'm from Central Texas, and so let's see, Travis County is somewhere over here. Milam County is somewhere here. And so it is in the 20%, 20 to 29% range. Is that going to make a huge difference with 60% voting or identifying with the Democratic Party? It may. I will tell you this, that many a dissertation within the ranks of political scientists have been written on Hispanic voting, Latino voting. How are they going to vote? How do you attract? How do you increase voter turnout? Because at some point, with the population growing, it's definitely the largest minority group in the United States, and nearly, it's 40%, more than 40% of the population in the state of Texas. So it matters what issues are important. Now, some of the power is taken away, even with those kinds of numbers, because Hispanics in Texas traditionally have lower voting rates. But at some point in 2018, we saw an uptick in the amount of Latinos that voted in Texas. And So it is making everybody stand up and take notice. Because in the end, all a politician is concerned about is, what do I have to do to get reelected? What do I have to do or say to get people to vote for me? And so once they figure out who's voting, then they figure out what issues are important to them, and that is the way that they start leaning. All right, finally, we're going to talk about party organization, and I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. This is, let me tell you this, the same for Democrats and Republicans. We have 3 levels of organization within the state of Texas. Precinct level is several precincts within each county precinct. Then you have the county level, which is, or sometimes there are districts instead of the whole county being a in the area. It is a part of a county. So large areas will have districts where it's not just one, it's not the whole county, it's a part of the county. Harris County has district conventions, senatorial district conventions. In Tarrant County, we have a county convention. Republicans have a county convention, and Democrats have a county convention. Then each party has a state convention. And so that is the way that work gets conducted on the local level. At precinct conventions, and we skipped precinct conventions this year, they went directly to county. They elected, at each of these conventions, they decide who's going to be the county chairperson. They are responsible for running elections, and they decide what platform or ideas they want to push up to the state level, and who are going to be the delegates to the state convention. Then at the state convention in the summer, every other year, they decide on a platform, decide who the delegates are going to be to the national convention. They decide on the officers to the national convention, to the state convention, and the delegates to the national convention. So it is actually pretty consistent. Any level of party organization is going to have this consistently. You are in charge of the area that you are elected for, and you don't get paid any money. So you have a precinct chair, you have a county chair that is elected at the county convention, and you have a state chair that's elected at the state convention. There's also an executive committee at the state convention. There are delegates for the state convention, and these people spend countless hours doing work, but none of the positions pay. So most of the time, the people that are working at these levels are retired or independently wealthy. Now, that if we continue to have things virtually, that may change. That may change. Because if people are not having to use all their time traveling and money traveling, then it may bring in some new blood on the Democratic and Republican levels. A political party is basically an organization that puts people in office. So who makes up political parties? One are the people that decide I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican. In Texas, that literally is just a decision. You don't have to register. But those people that identify with the parties and are going to elect people that are in that party no matter what. Then you have the formal party workers, the chairman, the executive board members, the committee members, the delegates. Those are the people that are formally working within the party to make things run, make sure that voting is certified and sent to the Secretary of State. They're actually doing the work. And then you have the elected officials. And elected officials run in partisan elections. They identify with one party or another, and they are actually doing the work. They often form coalitions, work together, have caucuses where they decide this is what we're working on this year. This is who we want to do this. They get people appointed. And so they are actually rolling up their sleeves and doing the work. This map is 2020. It's a 2020 copyright, and it is just showing which states have unified Republican control, which states have unified Democratic control. Not very many on the West Coast: Washington, Oregon, California. On the East Coast, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, and which have divided control, where they have some have Democratic houses or Democratic senators or Democratic governors, with Republicans in the other chambers. So Louisiana, Montana, Maine show divided control. Be very curious to see this map later.